Hi to all my fans, and this is my first story parody in a long time. I used to do a bunch of those last summer, and now I'm gonna tell one again. So, this is going to be a spoof on Tangled called Rapunzel and her 80s hair and its new waves, something like that. So, this is a spoof on Rapunzel. So, and I just have to say for the record, I haven't seen Tangled yet. That's one of my many movies on my movie bucket list. So this is just a parody of what I know from the German fairy tale. So, once upon a time, there was a man and a woman, and they were married, and the woman wanted a child. So, she got a child, and so while she was pregnant, she had a real craving for chocolate bars and vanilla milk. Now, of course, since this is the Middle Ages, chocolate and vanilla were not discovered yet. It would take like another 200 years for them to be discovered, since this was around 200 years before Christopher Columbus became one of the major um, criminals of global genocide. So, so the husband had no idea what chocolate and vanilla even were. So they went over and asked the witch. Now, most witches are really nice, since the evil witch is of course, a negative stereotype that was used to justify burning the matrilineal cultures of pre-Christian Europe, the Wiccans. But Rapunzel's parents, of course, were prejudiced. They had been brainwashed by the church's hate campaigns. So they mistakenly thought that this witch was evil. So they just went over to her house and asked her. The husband went over to the witch's house and asked the witch, my wife is pregnant and she's had this terrible craving for chocolate bars and vanilla milk, and I have no idea what the fuck chocolate and vanilla even fucking are. Could you look into your crystal ball to see what they even the fuck are? The witch said, sure, but I'd like you to really stop treating me like shit. You have been brainwashed by, the church's fucking genocide campaign, which, by the way, has no fucking connection to Jesus and what he actually taught, because he taught that people like me are cool, not evil. So, what you need you to know is that witches like me are not evil. In fact, we are really good at medicine, and I know you and your wife. I could help your wife at childbirth, so it wouldn't be so fucking painful. And I know as you get older, I could provide a lot of medical benefits to you, so you wouldn't be as sick. You know, it's pretty good to have that, given how so many people die young in this age. Um, and so the Rapunzel's father asked the witch, "Oh, who does we die young at this age? I didn't know that." And then the witch, realizing she had made a mistake and not wanting to screw the husband and wife over, although possibly considering using her magic to make them live until they were 80, she thought about it and then decided she would tell them later, and said at the time, "Oh, my bad, nothing." So, of course, she told them about it later and then granted them magic that, prolonged their lives to the lives that we have now that are modern. So she told the man, um, chocolate and vanilla come from a continent on the other side of the ocean, so because you have realized what we Wiccans actually are and how we really are, and you have opened your eyes, to overcome your prejudices, I will give you, chocolate and vanilla to give your wife every day. So she mixed some milk with vanilla and sugar, and gave him a bunch of chocolate bars and told him to come back every week and she'd give him more. So 9 months later, the wife gave birth to a baby, and she named her Rapunzel because the witch had told her about a modern day fair trade organic brand of chocolate, which is called Rapunzel, and that is an actual real brand. So they named her Rapunzel after the Rapunzel chocolate that her wife ate a lot when she was pregnant with her. So Rapunzel was born, and when Rapunzel was older, they introduced her to the witch whom she called her aunt, and by the way, the witch's name was Greenbrier. So Rapunzel loved to play with Greenbrier as a kid, and Greenbrier and Rapunzel were very loving. But then later on, a woman she wasn't a witch, she wasn't Christian, she wasn't Jewish, she wasn't Muslim, she wasn't even an atheist, she didn't even give a shit about religion either way, and didn't even fucking think about it. She was just a jerk. So this nasty woman, who had been, one of the people in Rapunzel's wife's family, Rapunzel's mom, not wife, fucking mistake I made. And that wouldn't be until Rapunzel later found out she was a lesbian as a teenager. So Rapunzel's mother had this member of her family who was a real jerk, and when Rapunzel reached the age of 12 and was realizing, was dating this other girl, and they were the witch provided them a safe hideout to hang out so that they wouldn't be burned to death by the church. The witch had already secured her house so that the church wouldn't catch her. And right as she was about to, invite Rapunzel and her girlfriend to play in their house, the jerk woman, whose name was Idiot. So that was just her name, even though it fit her perfectly, but her actual name was Idiot. So Idiot captured Rapunzel and took her away from everyone in her family and then locked her up in a tower. And so Rapunzel was miserable for years after that, for 10 years after that. And she, the idiot would make her do her chores, all her work for her, and would never let her out of the tower, and, would consistently insult her. And during that time, Rapunzel would sing. She would sing, asking that her family come down and rescue her. And during that time, Idiot would not let her get a haircut, so her hair grew really, really long. One time it grew so long that she started texting her girlfriend on her cell phone that, look, my hair is really long. If you'd want, you can climb up my hair and come with me in the tower. And I'd really like it if you get me the fuck out of here. And during late at night at 2 in the morning, Idiot is just completely sleeping. She won't even know, so we could sneak out then. So, and by the way, Rapunzel's girlfriend's name was her name was Brenda. So Brenda decided she would do that. So at 2 in the morning, Brenda came down to down by the tower and sung, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair so I can climb your golden stair." And Rapunzel let down her hair, and then Brenda climbed up her hair and they planned to go leave. But for some reason, Idiot was awake. She woke up, and she said, "Rapunzel, who is that?" And Rapunzel said, "Oh, that's my friend. That's Brenda." And Idiot said, "I do not want, and you are not allowed to have any visitors in your tower. Brenda, get out of here." So Brenda, afraid she would get, possibly hurt by Idiot, ran away. And then from then on, Rapunzel was, had her cell phone taken away by Idiot. So Rapunzel was really upset now. She didn't know if she'd be able to text her family, which she had frequently been doing to try to tell them how much her life sucked in the tower. So she just decided one other time to possibly, wolf howl with the intonation of a shofar, and to wolf howl with the shofar sound so loudly that her family would hear her. But she then realized that that was a bad idea since Idiot would also hear her. So she had to figure out another idea. So she thought, and then one day she just decided, oh, fuck it. She let down her hair. She leapt down, and she was really hoping that she would not die, but that she would fall down on some sort of cushion, because she felt at the time that even if she did die, she was just ready to get the fuck out of there. Now, she didn't die, but she fell into the thorn bush, and her eyes got scratched out. And so she was blind, and she had to walk through the woods outside the tower for days, not being able to see. She didn't say anything, but kept running a long time, at first, so Idiot wouldn't hear her. But by the time she was several miles away from the tower, she started calling, "Mom, Dad, Brenda, where are you?" So luckily they found her, but then they were like, "Rapunzel, what the fuck happened to your eyes?" And she said, "Well, I decided, oh fuck it, I'd just jump down the tower, and luckily I didn't die, but thorns scratched out my eyes." And she asked Greenbrier, "Greenbrier, could you please heal my eyes using magic?" And Greenbrier said, "Oh sure." So Greenbrier used her magic to bring Brenda's eyes and her eyesight back. And so then the whole family, Greenbrier, let me see, Brenda, Rapunzel, and Rapunzel's mom and dad, made a fucking run for it. They decided to get the fuck out of Germany and the fuck out of all of Europe, because none of them wanted to risk being burned alive. So they decided to teleport to the 21st century, where they're living now. And they chose to move to Germany in the 21st century, which by now is a lot more tolerant now than it has been. It's been intolerant both in the Middle Ages and, I'm not going to get into when everyone knows it was really intolerant. But, it's long after that now, and now they're living in Germany much more into the future. And I actually haven't looked into the current political situation of Germany. I've heard it might be screwed up like everywhere a lot of places are now. But that's not, that's for another story. It's not for this fairy tale. So they just decided to live right now in the present in the 21st century, and they lived happily ever after.